I mean, like, look. I'm not in favor of a carceral state. Also, Japan literally has a 99% prosecution rate. Like, they just force you into agreeing that you have done a crime. They'll just hold you involuntarily for days on end.
Over the past few years, Japan has become the hottest new tourist destination. With the yen at all-time lows and everything so cheap over there, tourist numbers are breaking record highs every month. And nobody's more angry about this than Japanese people. People are skeptical of the increasing number of tourists and immigrants everywhere, and one of Japan's most despised clowns has exploited this sentiment to turn himself into a celebrity, the face of the anti-tourist movement. His name? HasanAbi. He's famous for screaming and threatening people in public, basically like a Japanese Johnny Somali.
What's really funny about that is that also Japanese people broadly hate that shit too. The reason why a lot of Japanese people get annoyed at tourists is because tourists do this shit to them, and this guy's doing it himself. He's like, no, I'm gonna do the shit that everybody hates tourists doing, but Japanese style.
A convicted criminal himself, he will do absolutely anything to try to get famous. I mean, in 2020, he live streamed himself going around purposefully infecting people. And that's not even in the top 5 worst things you'll see him do in this video. But now
he got elected. He's in the National Assembly now. Wait, is he from the Sansaido party, or is that's the one, right? Sansaido, the anti-migrant one. Is that the ticket that he won on? The Trump effect, and it's not a joke? No, 100%. All right.
He's a well-respected elected official with a massive following. He completely reformed his image, all by wandering around the Nara Deer Park every day and screaming at the Chinese tourists who come to feed the deer. But how did we get here? Well, blaming foreigners for everything and wanting to kick them out of the country has always been a part of Japanese nationalism, but right now it's on the rise again under a new name, Japan First. The first Japan First party was...
Dude, isn't that nuts?
Started by this guy, Sakurai Makoto, in 2016, and as you can tell, he's a very charismatic man. His entire platform was hating Korea and blaming everything wrong in society on Koreans in Japan. And when someone called him out...
I told you. The smoke that they have, first and foremost, xenophobia is across the board. But the smoke that they have primarily is for Koreans and the Chinese, bro, is crazy.
But on his bullshit, what did he do? Yeah, he just accused them of being Korean. Yeah, being Korean in Japan has always been hard, and I'm just talking about recent history, not like anything before 1945. To this day, anytime anything bad happens, you'll immediately see people online speculating that the culprit must have been a Korean. Like, I get...
Yeah. That's why, like, when I covered Shinzo Abe's assassination, I brought this up. But, like, the reason why it was the most successful political assassination in modern times was literally not because Shinzo Abe was, like, a reviled figure or something. Like, he wasn't super popular, sure. But in the aftermath of his death, society should have gotten together and been like, this is really tough. I can't believe it. But instead... they abided by the wishes or the demands that the shooter was trying to bring awareness to. And the only reason why was because it was, albeit a reasonable complaint that the shooter had, which was about the unified church, right? The Korean church, and how much the shooter's mother, just like many other Japanese people, had actually donated to this Korean church.
Japanese YouTube comments informing me that some of the most embarrassing people I've covered are actually secretly Korean. Yeah, it's basically to the point where the 3 worst things you can be called on the Japanese internet
Isn't it a cult? Yes, but there's a lot of cults in Japan. Keep in mind, Japan is 99% Japanese. They have 1% immigrant population. Japan blaming foreigners for their problems is literally insane. Brother, Japan is so Japanese that they literally... Well, first of all, they do have Korean Japanese people, right? Like Japanese people of Korean descent. What is it called again? I forget. But there's that. But there is that. But also, no, not like Zainichi, the Zainichi Koreans. Okay, so you have that. But then also you have, is it a slur? I didn't know that. Okay. Well, but then there is a suspicion of people that suspect people of being secretly Korean.
And Chinese. And that last one is big. Right now, anti-Chinese content is doing numbers on the Japanese internet. The most popular genre is Chinese tourist abusing deer videos. If that makes you go, huh? I should explain. There's this park in a city called Nara where there are hundreds of wild deer that you can pet and feed, and right now it's filled with tourists, even more than usual, mainly Chinese. But yeah, this video has a girl labeled Stupid Chinese who's apparently kicking a deer in the head. Now, who would do that? Who would kick a deer? Wait, she didn't kick the deer. She didn't make contact. These are two different pictures. Yeah, this YouTuber just did a lazy Photoshop job to make it look like the Chinese girl was kicking the deer when she wasn't. This is the most popular video in the genre with 2 million views, and I didn't see a single comment calling this out. Okay, now this is where Hazuma Ryu comes in. Hazuma was a
secret Chinese or secret Korean is a common plot point in the Yakuza games. And the reason why it's a common plot point in the Yakuza games is because it's a common plot point in Japanese life. They didn't invent the theme.
serious menace to society. He was probably the most hated guy in Japan, famous for getting an 18-month prison sentence for shoplifting after posting a video of himself eating raw fish in the supermarket before paying for it. But now, he had a new purpose in life. He moved across the country, all the way to Nara, to become a deer protector. His plan was simple: patrol the park every single day and stop the Chinese tourists from abusing the deer. Before we go any further, I want to say there is no animal abuse shown in this video, and I didn't think it needed to be said, but I am against all forms of racism. Anyways, here is his first big scoop. He's caught a Chinese tourist red-handed, or should I say red-footed, kicking a deer like a soccer ball. And when he says that, this is what he means? A guy doing shake-a-paw with a deer?
どうしたじゃなくて、鹿の足蹴っとったやろ鹿の足蹴っとったやろ言い訳するんかお前蹴っとったよなおい蹴っとったよな帰れ調子乗んな警察呼ぶか警察呼ぶかじゃあこいつが捕まるぞ鹿の足蹴っこいつが鹿の足を蹴っとったぞ警察呼ぶんやったらこいつが捕まるぞ警察呼ぶんやったらこいつが捕まるぞあ怖いよ今怖いよじゃねえっちょお前お前が帰れ鹿の足を蹴んななめるな
The guy apologized to Hazuma 11 times, and honestly, the deer didn't even seem phased in the first place. He was hard chillin'. But anyways, these videos are very well received. The majority of Japanese commenters agree with Hazuma, and they all use this to say Chinese people should be kicked out of Japan. So yeah, what Hazuma does is look for any tourist interaction with a deer that looks bad and uses it as an example to scream at them. And believe me, he's just getting started. Here, Hazuma claims this woman hit a deer with a water bottle. The only problem is, I don't even know if she makes contact with the deer. And if she does, she's just giving it a little boop on the snoot. Yo, who put that in the script? The guy feels threatened by Hazuma, so he calls the cops. The police arrive and they immediately see through Hazuma's lies. They order him to apologize and delete his footage. Instead, he uploads the footage online, which resulted in the Chinese couple suing him for defamation. Yeah, he eventually had to delete the video, but Hazuma's plan was working.
It's so crazy because the Japanese do not go around with defamation. He could have literally he could have been saying the truth and you could still be successfully sued for defamation in Japan. Defamation rules are out of control. They are crazy, brother. I think it's a little ridiculous. Like the way the Japanese rules are around defamation is, if someone is and you correctly call them you can still be successfully sued for correctly calling them defending Hazuma. No, I'm not defending him. I'm just talking about something I find to be rather strange. And yes, what I'm describing about the pedophilia thing has happened. It's not even a joke. That has literally happened. Because everywhere else around the world, pretty much, the greatest defense against defamation is the truth, right? Nope, not in Japan.
working. He was getting a lot of attention, and he knew just how angry people could get when it came to deer. He remembered this incident from 2020 where someone bragged about doing something absolutely vile to a deer. Seriously, what kind of psychopath would do this? Oh, it was Hazuma himself. Yeah, before he became the deer protector, Hazuma was known for being the deer terrorizer.
ピッピッピー山口県から来ました。Hazumaです。コラボレーションお願いします。メントスコーラお願いします。
Hazuma knew exactly how to piss people off, and it always involved the Mentos Coke challenge.
Dude, when I see stuff like this, why are you watching this? You don't know anything about bad faith actors taking a video of benign actions with dogs and using them to spin a negative narrative about an innocent person? Okay, calm. It's funny. When I see stuff like this, I don't get it. I don't understand what compels someone to be this brain broken that they are trying to be like, they're so starving, so desperate for attention that they will literally do anything they possibly can. It just strikes me as so odd. It feels like you're not like a human, you know? This is like this unironically is like the opposite of how human beings should behave. Someone says social terrorist. Yeah, literally. Like I see this as like a transparent instance of mental illness. This is socially malignant behavior.
What he would do was stalk and then ambush famous YouTubers in real life.
ピッピー分かって TV の高田くんですか
Then he'd scream at them, ordering them to do the Mentos Coke challenge for him.
メントスコーラお願いします。山口県から来ました。あなたのこと愛してます。メントスコーラお願いします。メントスコーラお願いします。
He would keep following them and pestering them over and over, sometimes even for hours, until they got away by going to the train station, getting into a taxi, which he'll still follow for as long as he can, or in some cases, going to the cops.
で、離れても離れてもずっとついてきて、すみません、警察来なかったんですけど。
Thankfully, the police put a stop to it, which works for about 15 seconds. In one case, Hazuma spent 6 days straight lurking at the convenience store outside the house of the biggest YouTuber in Japan just so he could ambush him.
あれおかしいっすよ。
Bro, what the bro? Hey, yo, that's crazy. This is one of those instances where you're like, sometimes you just have to have a gun, I think. Hey, yo, turns out it's worse than TwitchCon. Yeah, TwitchCon, but worse. Literally, it's a TwitchCon, but the entire country is operating in that same attitude, with the same attitude. They're like, oh, you're a stalker? It's fine. What the?
あれおかしいっすよね。警察呼んで。ねえ、メントスコーラだけお願いしますよ。
I can't emphasize enough how much Hazuma is hated by every single person that has the misfortune of interacting with him.
どうも、ヘイズマリュウです。ってな感じでね。はい。
But it wasn't just streamers he would do this to. Hazuma would also force the Mentos Coke challenge on unwitting homeless people in the middle of winter.
もうちょっと手前で、顔の近くで。もうちょい上。もうちょい上。で、もうちょい手前です。手前。もうちょい手前で。いきますよ。はい。
Oh, come on.
After he's covered the poor homeless man and everything he owns in Coke, he follows him around and laughs at him for another 10 minutes. This is literally just assault. He's just assaulting homeless people for content.
どうぞ。
He uploaded these videos without censoring their faces, by the way. But would you believe me if I said this wasn't even the worst thing he's ever done? This is Chomage Kozo, a group of kids that run a very famous YouTube channel. In 2023, Hazuma, who was 32, tracked down this kid, Namazu, who was 13 years old, and followed him home from school.
ナマズくん、やってきたぞ。ちょっと待ってもらっていいか。ナマズ、やってきたぞ。
I can't say what should be done, but I can think it. I can't say out loud what should be done, but I'm thinking it, bro. He is what the yo. I thought they were a nation of laws, man. This is lawlessness. You can just do whatever you want apparently in Japan. What the? They elected this man, brother. I just
今一人。ちょっと待って。俺も変なことはせん、絶対に。
Hazuma confronts this 13-year-old kid and berates him for not replying to his DMs.
俺会いたかった。だって DM 返してくれんやん。Twitter でコラボしたいって言っても。
This isn't scripted or anything. The kid is legitimately afraid of Hazuma.
メントスコーラ
Also, Hazuma uploaded this uncensored, which led to the kid's city and school being identified.
挨拶だけお願いします挨拶お願いします挨拶君たちは有名になりすぎた有名になったらこういうこともある
Where I'm from, this would get you put on some sort of registry. But honestly, I think the kid handled it pretty well. I mean, as well as a 13-year-old can handle a 300-pound middle-aged man out of jail on probation following you home from school. And this happened in 2023. Hazuma soon realized that his talent for screaming at...
Yo, I mean, like, look. I'm not in favor of a carceral state. Also, Japan literally has a 99% prosecution rate. Like, they just force you into agreeing that you have done a crime. They'll just hold you involuntarily for days on end. Why the fuck aren't they doing this dipshit? I don't get it. No, it's not for foreigners. No, it's for everybody. What are you talking about? No. Japan has a crazy conviction rate. They do forced confessions through what other countries would consider torturous methods. Okay? But like, how the fuck do you not do that to this guy? If there's one guy that's worthy of that, it's him. You got to keep this guy in jail. That's what you got. I'm sorry. You have to. You have to put this dude in an involuntary hold in a mental facility 100% and study his brain for generations.
People was wasted on homeless people and children. He could get way more views if he just screamed at tourists. Not only that, maybe he could even exploit his image as the deer protector to get on Nara City Council. There was just one tiny little problem. The deer don't need protecting. Don't take it from me. Here's Nara's Parks Department saying they don't have any reports of tourists hitting deer, and more tourists get injured by deer than vice versa.
Yeah, deer
Think about
actually,
it.
from what I understand, the Nara deer actually people up because they've gotten so used to getting fed that they just walk up to you and bite you and demand that you feed them. I haven't been.
There are around 40,000 tourists to Nara Park every day, and Hazuma's there every day too. If even 1% of tourists were doing bad things to the deer, shouldn't Hazuma have tons of examples? He wouldn't have to freak out over a woman touching a deer with a water bottle or a guy doing shake-a-paw with the deer. No, the biggest threat to deer is not tourists. Shouldn't be a surprise that chilling in the middle of a city and living off an unnatural diet of hundreds of rice crackers a day would be bad for wild animals. Those crackers cause the incidents between humans and deer. When you're holding them, the deer get super aggressive. I've experienced this firsthand. I remember having like 15 deer chasing me around all at once. It was a little scary and I'm a big guy. So why did Hazuma's message resonate with so many Japanese people? Take this footage of actual deer abuse Hazuma took, for example. An old man nonchalantly kicking a deer in the head. But would it surprise you to hear that Hazuma just stole this video from someone? By now, of course it wouldn't. But yes, this was filmed by a Taiwanese woman who labeled the man as Japanese. Which makes sense. I mean, frankly, this guy looks a little old for international travel. When confronted with these facts, what do you think Hazuma said? Maybe you'd expect him to say something like, "Oh, yeah, you're right."
Yeah, that guy's probably this old-ass Japanese dude who's like, I've been bit far too many times with these fucking little assholes.
He does live in Japan, but he's secretly Chinese. Yes, that's exactly what he said, actually.
I told you, motherfuckers, bro. I told you the secret Chinese and the secret Korean. Remember how I told you Japanese people, 99% Japanese, 100% of the incidents caused by secret Chinese and secret Koreans.
Believe me, this strategy is really effective. The most famous deer abuse case happened in 2024 with this guy just walking down the street and kicking every deer he passed by. Everyone in Japan immediately claimed with no evidence that this guy was Chinese. But upon closer inspection, there's a good argument that this guy's Japanese. He appears to be speaking Japanese, he's got his house keys on his belt, and the shirt he was wearing is some niche fashion brand from Tokyo. I saw a comment that was like, "Why did we think he was Chinese in the first place?" And the reply was, "Well, Chinese are the ones who kick the deer." This is the pattern. There's a cycle of Japanese people assuming that a Japanese person would never do something bad. Then they witness a Japanese person doing something bad, so they come to the conclusion that the person must not be Japanese. On the other hand, Hazuma will call out foreigners for doing literally anything. Charge your phone at an outlet? You mean electricity theft, criminal scum?
What the fuck?
Sit in a chair? How dare you? That was a chair for children. Using his new deer protector persona, along with some other random nonsense, has
Policy positions: address the foreigner problem, stop Chinese people from buying all the fresh water, block Kurdish people from moving to Nara, review a problematic railroad crossing, use his status as an influencer to promote Nara and bring visitors. Yeah, I really want to go to fucking Nara, seeing this dipshit around with a fucking phone camera. God damn. Also, in terms of hog universality, have you noticed something? Whatever the hog flavor of the month is in America, don't you realize whenever a fucking major crime happens, every hog, well, no, yes, they're fat. Yes, that's one part. And they are thumb-like. That's not it. That's not what I was talking about. It's thumb-shaped. Yes. No, hog universality still holds. Whoever the flavor of the month is, one month is trans people, the other month it's the Antifa leftists. Hogs, whenever there is a major crime taking place, oftentimes done by hogs, will turn around with zero evidence and be like, well, another trans shooter, another Antifa shooter. God, the left are so out of control, don't you think? Hog universality, baby.
Hazuma actually managed to come in third place in the 2025 election and got elected to the Nara City Council on July 20th. But would it surprise you to learn that Hazuma the city councilor wasn't all that different from Hazuma the YouTuber? One of his main issues was that he claimed Chinese people had already bought up most of the fresh water in Wakayama, and we can't let that happen here in Nara. But then the head of the waterways department in Wakayama came out and completely called him out on his bullshit and said that hasn't happened at all. And now, instead of yelling at YouTubers in his first city council meeting ever, he's gotten in massive trouble for...
Yeah, the Kurdish thing is entirely like Western developed, Western designed mania that has captivated the Japanese population, the Japanese racists at least. Because like I said, first and foremost, the number one ops for the Japanese nationalists are Koreans and the Chinese, whether it be secret Korean and the secret Chinese, or just like tourists, right? Or people just like visiting. But then Westerners were like, oh, the Kurds are fucking, the Kurds are destroying Japan. And it was, because there's like a tiny population of Kurds. There's a tiny population of Kurds, which I think has grown in the last couple of years. Because like every time I've been to Japan, I see more doner shops everywhere. Tanıdıklarından saçma sapan Japonya'daki Kürtlere ilgili şeyler duyuyorum. There's a hierarchy besides that. Japanese people told me even first time I went there 20 years ago. I wonder if Japanese people hate the Kurds, and by old people who probably thought that much longer than 20 years, I wonder if Japanese people hate Kurds, like the Japanese nationalists, because they love Turkish people. And they learned to hate the Kurd from the Turks. I've talked about the Japanese-Turkish allegiance before on this broadcast. And I think Kurds can get, Kurds actually get refugee status in Japan. Like they can apply for refugee status. People always say they like whites more than black people, then like MENA, then Korea, and China the worst. And other Asians.
Screaming at the mayor.
Stop! あなたね、どのツアー下げて市長やってんですか?
And of course, he's still doing his deer thing, but thanks to new AI technologies, he doesn't even need to go to the park anymore. He can just make up pictures of Chinese people riding on deer. Hazuma's actions have not gone unnoticed in nearby Asian countries. He's personally raised the temperature of anti-Japanese sentiment in China to the point where Chinese tourists to Japan are explicitly warned about him before they travel to Nara. Of course, only pissing off China wasn't enough. A few months ago, Hazuma made...
They're like, if you see this tubby piece of shit bouldering down with a phone camera in hand, get away ASAP. That's crazy, bro. You're like a villain. You're like a local villain. Oh my God, Japan literally is like the Yakuza gaming series. I swear to God. Like, that's like a Yakuza side boss, dude. Are you fucking serious? Local streaming hog. Deer protector. It unironically feels like you would see that in Yakuza as a side quest. You have to take him down. Yeah, like a Mr. Shakedown, but different.
Made up this story about a Korean guy feeding a deer a spicy green pepper. I'm sure you don't even need me to debunk Hazuma anymore, but I mean, come on, bro. The picture...
It's seriously bad. I realize thanks to listeners' comments that these aren't spicy green chili peppers. That Korean guy's seriously bad. It's so spicy. It's making him sick. He's going to throw up. Seriously, he should be arrested for this. yo, this also is like schizo hog posting. It's also universal. Like fake outrage manufacturing takes the exact same tone of like seriousness, even though you are very clearly insincere. So you try to like bring it up. You try to elevate it where you're like, this is seriously bad. Guys, no, bro. The truth is Hazama is secretly Korean. Japanese would never act like this. Oh my God.
He posted of the pepper was taken on pavement. Korean press picked up on the fake story, so he deleted the tweet, of course, but naturally, Korean people were not happy with the slander. So yeah, Hazama has done legitimate damage to international relations between Japan, China, and Korea. The worst part is Hazama doesn't even care if what he's putting out is true or false, he's just promoting his own brand. And unfortunately, it's worked. Hazama's claims about Chinese people kicking deer are now being parroted by the LDP, Japan's ruling party. And they've already started passing anti-foreigner legislation cracking down on the biggest troublemakers, PhD students and entrepreneurs.
I swear to God, bro, they are, oh my God. Everything becomes 10x funnier when you realize the Kurdish population in Japan is 2,000. Oh yeah, it's minuscule. Oh, I forgot. Guys, when we said 1% of Japan is foreigners, what do you think? Yes. Japan is entirely Japanese. Like, it's not. Why do you think I say it's an ethno state? They're cooked. They're fucking cooked. And it's crazy because, like, the worse things get, the more aggro they become. I think it's much lower than 1%, to be honest. I mean, I don't. Wait, let's look at this up. Japanese foreigner population size. It says, as of mid-2025, the foreign population in Japan hits a record high to 3.9 million, which makes up about, and this was like last year, the population increased by 10% to 3.6 million, it says here. The highest number since 2013. Foreigners make up 3% of the total population. That is a record high. W ethno state? You can't be fucking serious, right? You're memeing. You got to see how the Grey Wolf people push the anti-Kurd thing. It's hilarious. Bro, you're joking, but like, I guess they have, I mean, Turkey has a weird relationship with Japan. I've talked about this before, like the bathhouses that are now known as soaplands literally changed their names. The government made all of the bathhouses that were previously known as, I think it was known as like Turkish bathhouses, into soaplands because the Turkish government was like, please don't associate our culture and our wonderful country with prostitution. So they changed it to Soapland. The Turkish government got the Japanese government to forcibly change the name of bathhouses to soaplands. I've talked about this before. Like there is a long-standing history between the Ottoman Empire all the way that spans back to the Ottoman Empire in Japan. There are some weird ideals that span across the entire Asian continent. There's this like pan-Asian mythology that revolves around like going all the way from Japan all the way to the tip of the tip of the Ottoman Empire that designates everyone as like this big pan-Asian group of people. You want to be Japanese so bad? No, I mean, I'm fucking joking about that, but like, I'm not joking about the historical relevance, but I'm joking when I say like Japanese people are Turks or whatever.
Anti-foreigner views have gone mainstream to the point where a growing number of Japanese people don't want any foreigners at all. The complaints are that foreigners drive up crime and overstay their visas while hogging public resources.
Again, 3%. Like, this already is a fucking insane statement to make in places like the UK or places like the United States of America. I've spent my entire professional political commentary career addressing this, okay? But if there's one place where this lie is so fucking laughable, it's Japan. Foreigners make up 3% of the Japanese population. 3. If you think 3% of the population is responsible for a significant increase in crimes, it's unsalvageable, bro. There are over 5 times as many Kurdish people in Nashville than in Japan.
So I looked up the data. Crime committed by foreigners is down. In fact, foreign residents actually commit fewer crimes per capita than Japanese people.
No, that's crazy.
Regarding visa overstays, they're already extremely strict and the system seems to be working. So why did Japan increase immigration in the first place? I'm sure I don't need to remind you, their population is aging and shrinking. Elderly people made up 10% of the population in 1985, 20% in 2005, and now it's 30% and still climbing. Sectors like elder care and construction already heavily rely on foreign workers to keep services running. By 2040, Japan is projected to need 570,000 more care workers. Without them, millions of elderly Japanese people will end up underserved or outright neglected.
I actually have a theory, and I think it's literally just because their politics are so boring, they have to make shit up. Oh, God. Yeah, keep in mind, most of this concentration of foreigners is in Tokyo and Okinawa because of the military base. I mean, low-key, the entirety of Japan is in fucking Tokyo at this point. Give it another decade, it's going to be 100% of the Japanese population living in the greater Tokyo area.
Foreign workers were Japan's solution to this glaring problem. Japan's tourism industry is also really important. It's one of the few bright spots in their shrinking economy. Today, around 8% of Japan's economy is tourism, an industry supported by over 6 million employees. And Nara is even more dependent on it. Their city's economy is over 12% tourism. So if Hezuma got his way, he would devastate Nara's economy.
1 in 3 Japanese people are Biden. No, true. Oh my God. I didn't really think about it like that. That's crazy. That's actually crazy when you put it like that. 1 in 3 Japanese is Brandonized, bro. You can't have a sustainable economy or a country like that. One day people are just going to get on boats and make their way to Japan and be like, all right, this is ours now, I guess, because everybody here fucking died because they were just too old. They were too racist to let other people in.
Before we wrap up, I have a word for my Japanese viewers who may support Hezuma. No judgment, some of my friends support him too.
What? Bro, get new friends. Oh my God. I can't think of a more unlikable person than this fucking dipshit. This motherfucker saw Johnny Somali and was like, we need to do this Japanese style. No judgment. Please judge. What's up with fucking YouTubers, man? Every goddamn YouTuber, they have to be so nice. They have to be so nice to fucking assholes, dude, all the time, no matter what. You described that he stalked a 13-year-old. You can say judgment, okay? All judgment for a guy who stalks 13-year-olds. This is the maximalist fence-sitter position as a YouTuber. You're so scared of offending people and getting on people's bad sides that you're like, you know, guys, I know this guy stalks 13-year-olds, but honestly, no judgment if you're a fan of him. Anyway, like, don't shit on this guy for saying that, obviously. I mean, this is a great YouTube content creator. I really enjoyed this video. It was fantastic. Japanalysis, we've watched some of his stuff in the past as well on this broadcast, but like, it is kind of wild. The Hazama situation is crazy.
They say Japan should put Japanese people first. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with wanting your government to take care of Japanese people. There's nothing wrong with wanting safety and security. You don't want immigration, you don't want tourists, that's your right. You can shut the door if you want. But the real question is that the right call? Will it actually make your life better? I mean, I get it. You're just going about your day and there are annoying tourists everywhere nowadays. But let's be honest. Will kicking out immigrants raise wages, fix the...
Bro. Japan's population has been declining for 16 consecutive years. The number of deaths reached a record high of approximately 1.59 million, and the number of births reached a record low of approximately 680,000. Okay? It's over. Like, it's literally over. What are you doing? It's cooked. The population is declining, and it is becoming increasingly aged out of the workforce. Anyway, this guy's awesome, though. Like I said, and he fixes it at the end after saying no judgment for Hezima enjoyers, but like it's just like overall, this is such a gigantic issue. And it's ironic because like you can always point to Japan. You can always, when you want to talk to like a fascist about like the great replacement, like they're replacing us and you know, Jews are doing unlimited population growth from the third world into this country, into this beautiful country I no longer recognize. It's like, first of all, the fuck are you talking about? This is the United States of America. There's never been a moment where there wasn't unlimited migration into this fucking country. Hello. That's number one. Number two, look at a country that didn't do that, Japan. It's so crazy to me that you would just like literally go, no, I would rather die than be around people that don't look like me. And yes, despite the aging population, there's still mass hysteria around mass migration. It is so laughable. It is so funny.
Yen boost birth rates or fill your labor gaps? Will it cut crime? Will it make your life even 1% better? Over 10 years ago, I visited Japan for the first time and fell in love with it. Fairness, kindness, politeness, those are the parts of Japanese culture that people admire. So if those are your values, do you think it's fair or kind to judge the 99% of immigrants who study, work?
Japan is not US, dude. No, dog. The reason why Japan is not the US, or the reason why the United States is the way it is as opposed to Japan, is because contrary to a bunch of fucking fascists, this country's history is comprised entirely of mass migration into it. Like that's what I'm saying. Japan is the warning sign. Japan is what America would have looked like if the fascists actually were able to somehow maintain some semblance of like genetic purity in air quotes. Why do you care? Japan is not the US, dude. Wait, what? Why do I care? I don't know. Why do I care about anything? Perhaps it's because it is a fundamental value that I have is as human beings are human beings, no matter where they're from, and should be treated equally, and that we will all prosper as long as we don't have these weird bigotries that hold us back. And Japan is such an extreme example of xenophobia that it's a perfect way to describe what happens when you have maximalist opinions on xenophobia, and it leads to your own demise. Call genetic purity what it is, inbreeding, is true. Yeah, speaking of... this is going to lead me into the Bernie segment today, but
pay
before I do that,
taxes
let's
and
finish
contribute
this.
to your society by the 1% who do stupid or harmful things? If you judge immigrants by the worst 1% you see on TikTok, how would you feel if the world judged Japan by the worst Japanese guy? For example, I don't know, Hezima? Hezima doesn't represent Japanese culture. He has no culture. He's uncultured. But he's Japanese, right? Do you want your whole country judged by his actions? Nobody would argue that people who go to Japan and do stupid stuff shouldn't be punished. If anyone, Korean, Chinese, or Japanese, abuses a deer on purpose, they're a psychopath and they should go to jail. I understand wanting to protect your country and your heritage, but don't do it for Hezima. He's only in it for Hezima. Do it for yourself. Make the choice.
I think it's a greater... It's a greater stain on the entirety of Japan that this guy is roaming free and now has been elected in the office than his existence. Like, he's just one guy. But the very fact that this one guy is such a goddamn demon that he's caused international incidents, and instead of being thrown in permanent prison to literally save the Japanese population as well as all the tourists, they elected him into office.
Choices that you think will make your life better. All right, hey, we're at the end, and I really want to thank my subscribers. You guys might have noticed that recently I've been making longer videos.
Okay, all right, well, god damn it. I can't make that fucking argument ever, dude. God damn it, you're so fucking right. You're so right. I hate you for it. And you're so fucking right. Every day on this goddamn app, I am humiliated. Okay? Oh, so fucking true. God, we are literally a nation of Hezimas. Honestly, like, I'm over here talking shit about Hezima, but like, we have Hezima as the president and a bunch of, like, we have millions of Hezimas all around that literally elected him. God, it's so dog shit. Anyway, your current leader is agnostic on the issue of Hitler. I'm just saying.
And taking longer to make them. These videos take a lot of work. It's not like I enjoy sitting here watching Hezima for 5 weeks straight. The thing is, this is a one-man operation. I do all original research, translation, script writing, editing.
Stop saying so is ours. I know. I just wanted to fucking deflect. I wanted to deflect, okay? Let me have this moment. Guys, stop, okay? Stop. I know. I'm trying to deflect the attention away. We're just eating it right now. We are eating it. American leaders aren't agnostic on the issue of Hitler. It's even worse, Lamau. No, they've moved beyond a refusal to be agnostic on the issue of Hitler. They have become Hitler. We are led by the new version of Hitler.